see if this works. Cool. Welcome to Mordheim Fanatics, the podcast that digs up word zone in the heart of the Empire's nightmare, the city of the damned. Tonight, I'm Josh, and I'm joined today by Alex, fresh from Cancon. How you going, mate? How you going?
Mate, I am fantastic. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Did you it's been a week and a bit since we got back from
so
Canberra?
It's Tuesday night right now, and we were in Canberra not this weekend just gone, but the weekend before that, playing a little bit of Mordheim.
Just a little bit, a smidgen here or there.
Yeah,
got a bunch of games in.
Yeah, how many did you end up playing?
I got 4 on the first day. I think I got 3 on the second. Sort of because I think everyone then packed up by like it was all wrapping up like
about 4 o'clock. Yeah. I played 8 games, so it was 4.
8 in.
Yeah, 4 and 4. Mate, someone that I was hanging out with, one of the guys that plays here in Sydney, I think he got like 14 games in.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the only way that could have happened was like there might have been a few games where like route tests were failed really early, or I think he played quite late into the evening on the Saturday night, because like some people just hung around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some people stayed at the venue. Yeah, some people were playing Mordheim at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night at the venue. So
wow. Okay. Well, yeah, because we were playing. I mean, just as I should do the intro properly. Like, we're going to talk mainly about our experiences at Mordheim Australis Cancon in Canberra, in Australia, which was a 2-day event. Loads of players. I think there was 80 signups. Wasn't there?
80 players signed up, and I think they had 78 that turned up on the weekend.
They actually turned up. Amazing. It felt like I think a lot of people sort of came and went through it, like, because there were like 40 tables, but it was interesting because I don't know, there was maybe half of them full at any one time is my impression. I don't know, maybe more. I mean, to start off with there was, but people were going to Cancon as well and checking out the events there. But yeah, and it wasn't actually at the venue, the main sort of Cancon exhibition area. It was actually off-site, the same site that it was last year, the Ainsley Sports Club, I believe.
The Ainsley Football Club, yeah. I think we need to point out that technically it wasn't part of Cancon, was it? It was like on the same weekend. It was on the same weekend.
The same weekend in Canberra.
Yeah, in Canberra. So same location, same weekend.
Not officially affiliated.
But different venues.
True.
Yeah, different venues. But I feel like that's happening more and more now over the Cancon weekend. Like there's different events. Like, I think 40K and perhaps is the Old World doing that these days, where like they're kind of doing it at a separate venue, and I think
they did do it. They did it at Jolt Games this year. So I think that's and Kings of War was also offsite, but that always is. I think so. There's a few of them that were like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Like, I guess we can talk about this a bit later about.
Yeah. There's probably another discussion of like why that's happening and why potentially what that means for Cancon overall. I don't know, but it's sort of, I suppose over the last few years, it's become a little bit more like everyone just converges on Canberra for the weekend, but everyone's at like different, it's almost like little splinter events rather than everyone being at the one convention. So
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I mean, we can hit that a little bit. Like, did you actually go? Like, for me, this is the first time I've gone to Cancon most years, apart from maybe when immediately after 8th died, and then through COVID, I guess there was a few years I didn't go, but usually I do go. This is the first year I haven't actually gone to the actual site, which felt strange to me because I feel like I had a really fun weekend playing Mordheim, but I feel like I haven't been to Cancon. I don't know how that's a really weird way to. I mean, the thing is though, I could have gone. Like, there was ample opportunity for me to have gone down the road. It's 10 minutes drive. Like, it's all entirely on me that I just didn't bother because I was having too much fun playing playing Mordheim. And the thing is, too, it's not like I ever buy anything from the buy swap sells. It's not like I really interact with much of the other stores. It's just being in those hot sheds. It's almost like ritualistic, almost anything. I don't know. How do you feel? Like, did you go up the road at all?
No, I didn't do it at all. I just didn't really feel motivated to do it because I don't know. I didn't really feel particularly like I was missing out on anything because I was there for Mordheim, and for me that was just, it was, as we're going to probably talk about, the event was so immersive that you sort of, for me personally, I just didn't want to leave. I did know a few people from, like, guys that were here that had come down from Sydney, and a few of them went over and checked out Cancon. One guy had purchased the early bird ticket to go to the buy swap sell, the bring and buy stall, and he came back. I reckon he came back like after lunchtime, back to the Mordheim event, and he was like, that was mental. It took like half an hour of lining up just to actually buy the thing that he wanted to buy and leave the shop. You know what I mean? Like, it was that many people.
Yeah, I heard that. There was a mega queue to get in there with that.
I feel like the bring and buy would have probably been one of the main reasons for me to check it out. But like, I can't actually think of anything that I would want to buy. Like, I'm not searching for anything. So I think I'd just go there and just probably just buy something that I don't need anyway. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So no, I just stayed the whole weekend at the, like, just played Mordheim all weekend at the venue and didn't bother going to Cancon.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same, and I must admit, like, there's nothing wrong at all. The venue was awesome. It was lovely. The food was. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Cancon, I find more and more, you're having to pack your own lunch because the vendors are like, not the best quality food, I suppose, and you better off just bring your own sandwich. But yeah, it was a really fun week. I agree, it was really immersive. And like, yeah, it was just Mordheim all weekend.
Yeah,
exactly what I wanted. So let's get into enough Cancon sort of general chat. Let's actually get into some Mordheim discussion, shall we? So what warband did you take, Alex?
I took the undead.
The undead.
Yeah,
was that the same as you took at Castle?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I even basically just named everything the same as what they were, but I changed the name of the warband, so I called it the Midnight March, which I thought was cool.
That's pretty cool.
Our listeners can make up their own minds as to whether they think that's cool or not. But yeah, so I took the undead. I had already run them at Castle Assault back in August, which was the event that I ran and kind of did all the organizing for. And yeah, basically it's pretty much the same warband. I had a vampire, necromancer, 3 dregs, and then a bunch of zombies and some ghouls and some direwolves, and that was it really. And it was more just convenience. Like, I didn't really have a lot of time to paint a whole lot of new stuff up, so I already kind of had this this warband. Kind of, they were completely painted, but I just added some details and just kind of tidied up the basing a little bit. Just added some details to the bases, like some extra grass tufts and some little leaf foliage and stuff like that, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more.
Nice.
I did paint up a new necromancer because I found I had a new model that I didn't have last time round, and I really wanted to use that model, so I painted that guy up, and I painted up a couple of new direwolves as well. But aside from that, it was basically just doing a little bit of extra work on the bases. So
right. Okay, all right. Well, I took I took Bretonia to Warbands when I briefly made a sojourn over to Mordheim mid Old World tournament last year.
That was very controversial, wasn't it?
That was funny. I think that was so fun. Oh, I got teased for that. So yeah, quite a lot. But yeah, this year I actually went the slightly spicier Chapel Guard route. I stuck with the Bretts because I stuck with them because I just took it as it's a bit of a modeling opportunity for me, really, where I just had a bit of fun putting together because I stuck with my main Brett army is 5th Ed. themed, and almost all the knights are fifth ed. And I sort of wanted to make sort of foot knights using that as a basis. So using like the especially the fifth ed errants, I just love those particular sculpts. So yeah, running Brett's Burber Chapel Guard was a good opportunity to do some foot errants with some backpacks and that type of thing, and do a questing night, and do some like adventuring looking bowmen with some more backpacks and maybe some dual wielding battle pilgrims. So whereas last year I really just scraped together a bunch of models that I found that I painted years ago and didn't look particularly good. So it was fun to
Am I correct? Am I correct in saying, did you then use those same models, but then like strip them down and just totally repaint them? Was that what you did for this time around, or that was?
No, these are all completely.
Oh, it was all new. Yeah, yep. Nice. Okay, out of interest, because this would be a cool thing. Obviously, are they kind of painted in a similar-ish kind of theme to like your actual Bretonnia army?
It's funny you asked me that, Alex.
Because
yes, it is.
Yeah,
and I went to the extent of. I don't have a proof of this, but I did do this. I identified specific knights using the same sculpts that were mounted.
That's
used their livery on the dudes on foot.
That's what I want to know. So these guys have now got their own little story. Like I'm imagining, the Bretonian king or whatever has gone, we need to send a small retinue of guys off we heard about this city and we need to go and like I don't know, come up with whatever backstory, but they've like sent off this little retinue to go and do some stuff in Mordheim and then like report back or something. And then like, I'm imagining they all waltz off with their like bright gleaming armor. And then like, a year or two later, they come back and they're all like disheveled and they've all got like, they're all limping and they've all got like injuries and they've all got like arms in slings.
Well, definitely got injuries. Well, some of them just have died.
Yeah. We didn't all make it back.
Because the questing knight dude is actually the same sculpt as one of my Knights of the Realm champions. So I think it's very plausible fluff wise that he's actually decided to go off on a quest for the Grail. Ended up in Mordheim somehow and dragged on some errant knights and a damsel for some reason.
At least that's what he told the Bretonian lord. He's like, we're always looking for grails. I think there might be one over at that Mordheim place. I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna need a few soldiers, and I'll need that lady to come with us as well.
Another lady. I was like, oh, poor girl.
She's like, but sir, I really don't. You must go. he's like just got this whole retinue of people together that aren't really that keen on going. But I imagine there's like an undercurrent of like he wants to go and look for treasure, but he's like, oh, I heard a rumor that there was a grail there, sir.
Yeah, I must admit when I painted her, like all the other knights are left quite dirty. But I'm like, I'm going to make her nice and clean and bright because I feel like that she should just be like almost immune to the Mordheim stench. So I mean, I've got some photos of her. I might pop them up at some point.
How many times did the poor damsel get taken out of action?
Oh, so many times, man.
Yeah,
so many times.
So you've got to paint her again, but with like heaps of like injuries and like shabby clothes now because she's just been like surviving in Mordheim.
Because she got a few, like I think she got a deep wound the first game that you and I played, which means that she misses a game on a roll of a 1 at the start of each game thereafter.
Oh, it's like old battle wound or something like that.
Yeah, she got old battle wound.
Yeah, and
then the very next game, she got a deep wound.
Oh no!
Which means that she missed the next 2 games. So she really wasn't doing a lot of work for me.
It reminds me of like
that first day.
Do you follow like team sports, Josh?
Yeah.
It reminds me. It reminds me of like when they do like the media releases during the week between games. They're like, "Oh, so and so has got a foot injury and will be out from 2 to 3 weeks." It's like the damsel. They're like they send like a parchment back to the army. They're like, the damsel has suffered a deep injury and will be out. Will not be fighting for 2 weeks.
I was so disappointed that she disappeared because I actually rolled because the
you got a really good spell with her too.
Remember, I rolled a good spell. It was because the chapel has got its own set of ladies' prayers, And I got the 6, which is Guiding Vision, which basically the damsel picks a friendly hero or henchman within 8 inches, and until the start of my next shooting phase, that warrior may re-roll 1 dice, and then also modify that result by 1. Which
so good.
Which is so good.
So good. And you can use that. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I didn't get that much value out of it. I probably just misuse it, or I'd cast it, and then I just forget I had the buffer. Like, happened to me at least twice. That
I'm pretty sure in the game,
I forgot to use that.
In the game that we played, I remember reminding you to use it, and then you still forgot.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I was like, oh, you've got your reroll, right? And then I don't know, some other stuff was going on, and then afterwards you're like, oh, I forgot the reroll, and I'm like, I just told you about the reroll.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, that happened definitely, at least in one other game. I'm trying to find a decent photo of her. Actually, I don't know if I've got a bunch of photos of her from.
You got some action photos. Oh, I bet you do.
I've definitely got some action photos. I've got this one. There she is. There. About to get a few charging undead going on there.
Yeah, so this was our game. So spoiler alert, we played first up because we were like, we hadn't seen each other since this event last year.
Pretty much, wasn't it? Yeah, and so I saw you, and I'm like, can we just play a game now?
Yeah, let's just do it. Like, exactly.
I was just like,
because you don't know how the rest of the weekend's going to go and like who's going to be doing what and whatever. Well, so it's just like let's do it. That's what it turned out, wasn't it?
Because there's no rounds. It's just free form. And so setting up a game with a specific player, it was a little bit like as if they were halfway through the game. You just have to wait and maybe play some other game. You just have to pick it for when they were almost finished or wandering around. You got to want to have a game. But otherwise, yeah, it was. It was interesting actually that whole dynamic.
Yeah,
it felt like looking for a dance partner.
It felt like I don't know, when you're a teenager and you go to some like teen dance or something like that, and you're sort of just hovering around hoping that like someone's going to look at you. But anyway,
I know.
It was that way.
Because you had that sort of entryway hallway that Dono was like, if people looking for an opponent, sorry, not a partner, you can go out and wait out there, and that might be a good meeting place. I don't know. I never actually did that. I just cruised around hoping someone would take pity on me.
I was the same. Just kind of worked. Yeah, just hung around, and if I saw someone that was kind of standing around a table and clearly wasn't playing a game, I'd just be like, "Hey, do you want a game?" So that was the method of it.
And really, like, though, pretty much everyone was there. They were all fun to play with. I really didn't have a bad game.
No,
playing against people that I bumped into.
Yeah,
some of them were really fun. And it was all played in a good spirit.
I had a cracking bunch of games. It was
except for this first one though. This first one was no fun.
I heard your opponent was a real jerk. So we decided to throw down straight away. That was the table. Yeah, look at that.
Yep. The quality of the tables are incredible. I've got lots of photos of these, and we'll probably go through that a bit later. But this one was awesome.
So that table was actually belongs to my friend Glenn, who came in from Sydney. And I was staying with Glenn. So we all brought tables and stuff down, but that's all his stuff. And I really rate that table. There's just a lot of really good interactive terrain. Like, you can get up into those towers and you can have guys running along gangplanks, and there's lots of scatter terrain. I reckon that's a really nice table.
Yeah. The verticality that you got there, and the ability to be up or down and create nice little vantage points to pelt some arrows at some approaching undead.
Yeah, that was definitely more advantageous for your warband than mine. But yeah, pretty much. What did we do? We played the breakthrough. Yeah. So you might be able to see my warbands there on the left. And for those who haven't played this scenario, basically you've got the attacking warband has to get 2 of their models to the opposite board edge. And if they can have those 2 models within 2 inches of the board edge at the same time, then the attacker wins the game. The defenders, however, are kind of deployed sort of anywhere across the board. You can space them out wherever you want, but you just can't have them within 14 inches of an attacking model to start the game. And so you kind of had all your guys spread out, and you had some archers up on like, with like vantage points and stuff like that. And I pretty much had to make a break for it with my shambling. There you go. There's some shambling zombies, boys. And I had some ghouls, and there's my vampire. That was one of your guys.
There's some good photos.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, you had like that.
Point.
Yeah, that guy was a real sharpshooter. The one that was on the gangplank. He took out my necromancer, because my necromancer was sort of like unwisely like walking around under the gangplank, and that guy just like sort of pointed the arrow down and just like shot him in the head and took him out of action.
Just got a, I was actually, that was a straight up critical, wasn't it? That was I must admit, the shooting, that was probably the one time the shooting in this game actually did something. Like I was firing, I felt like I was rolling lots of dice, and maybe this is just Mordheim, but wasn't getting much progress out of it.
You go, sorry.
Because I pushed them all up on vantage points, I felt like I couldn't control the area as easily as I was hoping.
Yeah, I've played that scenario quite a few times, and the general thing that the defender quite often, it's a bit of a trap for, like, if you haven't played it before, the defender quite often thinks that, oh great, well I'll put all these guys up in buildings and shoot at everything, but then you actually don't really have enough models on the ground. If you do that, you don't have enough models on the ground to stop the attacker just running across the board. And then you sort of realize halfway through the game that you're like, oh no, like the attacker's got guys that are kind of getting through the line, and the only way for me to stop them is to have like enough guys that can block their path. And you had quite a lot of guys. I think you had probably about 4 or 5 guys. You had quite a lot of archers, didn't you? So
I had 5 archers. Yeah, and then 5 dudes on the ground, pretty much.
Yeah,
it was sort of 50-50.
So maybe go back a couple of photos there, because I had a dreg that was trying to sneak past. Oh no, the next one. Yeah, that one.
Sorry.
Oh no, sorry.
Go back to it.
That one.
Yeah.
That was right on the extremity of like one of the board edges, and I sent this lone dreg, like running down the board edge, trying to get like sort of really bypass your whole warband, and you sent like one knight to like round there to kind of deal with him, and then they ended up having a combat, which is obviously on the next.
Is that next one?
Next one.
Oh
yeah. They ended up fighting. I'm pretty sure your guy just deal with my guy like straight away.
I think I tried to do a diving charge. There was an archer in this building right above there.
Yes, that's right.
And he just failed. He ended up on the ground.
He tripped over and like just did he take himself out of action? I think he landed on the floor, and then the dreg just
took himself out of action, or the dreg took him. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I'm going to change the battery here.
Oh, the headset battery. All right, Josh is doing a battery change. That's all right.
Battery's gone flat. Yep.
Right. Yeah, so your guy, I don't know, I can't exactly remember what happened there, but basically they had like this little fight off on the side of the board, like right on the extremity of the board edge. And your guy, basically tried to diving charge and ended up falling to his doom, which was pretty funny. And then we had,
I had to try it. It was a nice fresh morning. I was like, yeah, gonna happen. Then we had this sort of showdown going on where because I only had a couple of guys on the floor. So I'll take that for last. But yeah, this one. I'm not sure I've got the other view for that. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, this side. You were just running at me with all these dudes.
Yeah,
I think he had one dreg come in and try to hit the errant by himself, and he got either knocked over or stunned. But then next turn,
something happened to him. Yeah, that's him there on the floor. He just got owned. But then I kind of piled in a whole lot of zombies and stuff like that. But my necromancer, if you look at that picture, right, you've got your archer who's kind of up on the gangplank.
Yeah.
And if you go back to the previous picture, my necromancer was in the picture there.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he just got.
So I think that's 2 different turns. So this is the first turn. And I think only that Dreg in the foreground was actually in charge range. Everyone else failed.
They all
their charges.
failed. That's right. They were just
And then
out. So
the Dreg hit that, and then he got knocked over. Ironic. And then everyone else charged. Yeah. So and then in my turn, I must have taken that Necromancer with the Archer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right. But I think that's where also this happened.
Yeah.
This is probably
that was funny. It was heroic though. I'll give him that.
It was so heroic.
Wasn't that your leader?
Yes, that was my leader. Yeah, he got absolutely surrounded.
Didn't he he sort of? I kind of put 2 ghouls, my vampire and a direwolf, all on the left flank behind a building. And the idea was the vampire can run up to 12 inches. The ghouls, because they're not technically undead, they can run. And the direwolf can't run, but it can still move 9 inches normally, and it can still charge 18. So I'm like, well, these guys are all faster than the rest of my stuff. So if I can run them up the side, or kind of get them up the side as quickly as possible, then I can probably get them to the table edge. And then you had a few archers trying to shoot them, but then you sent your leader around to block them off, and they literally just mobbed him. He just got
absolutely mobbed.
I
think he had a knight as backup, but then I actually put the other errant sort of around the outside of the building, and then next minute, he was just Tibot was getting absolutely mobbed, and just got knocked over. When you have so many different attacks, all it takes is one to knock him over, and then then he's been taken out of action.
I think that's what it was.
I don't think your vampire even attacked. I think it was. Did he get a chance? I can't remember who actually did the.
I thought the vampire, because I think the vampire went first and just took him out. I think he just got taken out before anyone else got to swing. But that did earn you a little what was it, a stamp on the bingo card, which was have your leader taken out or have a hero taken out of action before they even get to attack.
Yep. Great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So he just got mauled by 4 models all at once. And then those guys were able to kind of charge in and help some other stuff.
So then you redirected them, but then I think you had the ghoul and the vamp, they were just loose at that point. And I think you were in a pretty good position to break through. And I think at that point, I routed soon after.
Yeah, you failed a route test not long after that.
Yeah. I wonder if I've got any other photos of this. Oh no! Okay, right. I'll say that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, but didn't your leader end up rolling he got double 6 and ended up earning extra experience or something like that?
That's right, and I got a photo of that event. Double 6 on the injury roll. I was very relieved. This game is so terrifying rolling those injuries because if you roll 15 or less. You're
just straight up dead. I mean, so for those who are kind of tuning into this and maybe haven't played a lot of Mordheim, you roll 2 dice. Oh, you can go back to that. You roll 2 dice on this injury table for characters that are taken out of action, and you pick 1 dice to be 10s and 1 dice to be 1s. So in this case, it might be the green dice is 10s and the red dice is 1s. And you roll that up, and that's so it could be anything from 11 up to 66. And in this case, you rolled 66. And basically, he not only does he survive, but he also gains an experience point because he's learned something from the battle. But conversely, if that 10s dice comes up as a 1, then there's a very good chance you're going to be dead, because the only way you survive is if you roll 16 or higher. So you're hoping that the other dice is going to be a 6. So and I'll tell you one later on. I had a very hairy situation where that may have happened later.
And I mean, and the thing is, even if you roll a 16, that is actually just multiple injuries, isn't it? Where you roll again on the chart,
so multiple injuries is not much better than being dead. I mean, no, to be fair, you still have you can't die.
You can't die of multiple injuries?
No, because it says basically you ignore the dead results, or you re-roll the dead results.
Okay.
So it just means that you could potentially take a whole lot of stats, a lot of hits to your stats potentially, but you could roll a bunch of full recoveries. So, And full recovery, with the way that this table's set up, full recovery, there's a reasonable chance of rolling it. So full recovery just means, hey, you got taken out of action, but then no serious injuries, and then you're ready to go again. So yeah, but that was actually a pretty favorable result, because at least you got away with it without losing your leader and not taking any.
I don't think I took, from memory, I don't think I took any real. Oh, it was just it was, as I said, there was a damsel who got the old battle wounds injury.
Yeah, that's right.
And then what else happened there? I think, so I think one of my, I must have been on the explorer roll. I think I got a Fletcher and ended up with some hunter arrows.
That's right, the hunting arrows
on a squire, which is like +1 to the injury roll. I must admit, I don't think that actually happened the whole weekend. That particular dude, I don't think he ever got a chance to roll an injury roll off his shooting.
Because that's the problem. You still got to hit. You still got to hit, and then actually wound.
Get a chance to get the +1.
Yeah,
but it was in theory, it's quite cool to get +1 injury roll. But yeah, that's just how the dice roll sometimes. Shall we talk about this and what this means?
This was so cool. So giving this some context, there was a guy at the event who was playing a merchant warband. And basically, I don't know too much about the merchant warband, but I think there's a big element in the way that warband works is you can, I guess you have, there's incentive to like buy a lot of different wares and different, items from people and then sell them on and different things like that. But what he did, this guy went absolutely like dialed it right up to 100 and brought along this whole set of stuff that apparently he made by, like, he must be like a woodworker or something, because he made all this apparently.
He made it?
I heard he made it. That's what someone was saying. So this guy brought along this whole thing and set it up like it was like a little merchant shop. And then people were selling their gear to him. Like if you found some equipment that you didn't need or that like your warband wasn't going to use or whatever, you could sell it to him. And then he would then put it up on this like little notice board thing, and other people could come along and be like, oh, that's like equipment that I need. That is. And then he would sell it to other people. So it was really cool. But yeah, that was like one of the coolest things of the whole weekend, because as the event went on, you could come out there and there was constantly stuff being added to the, to the list, and you could go in there and But it was
actually got quite a long list in the end. There's only a few things on there, but it actually kept. Yeah, there was actually quite, and there were stuff from sale, but also you ended up with the second column of stuff people were requesting to buy as well.
Yeah. So if people wanted a particular item, because the way it works with some of the rare items in Mordheim, the only way that you can get them is like you might go, okay, well, I want to buy this particular type of weapon, but I can only get it if I roll like 10 or higher on a 2d6 at the end of the game. And if you don't roll that, well, you don't get it until next game, and then you can try and roll for it again. So you could go through a whole campaign where you haven't rolled high enough to get that item. But there's sometimes you get equipment and items from the exploration phase. Like if you roll, like a whole lot of like doubles or triples or whatever, like when you're rolling your exploration dice, sometimes you come across extra equipment. Like you came across the Fletcher, which meant you found some hunting arrows. Now your warband can use those arrows, which is cool, but there are other warbands that might not have much need for that. True. So in which case someone could come and sell it to the merchant. So it was just cool. This added just another layer of immersion to the whole event, because you could like, I went out here and was always checking the board, but there were people that were writing on there like, oh, I'm looking for this thing or I'm looking for that thing. So if somebody else came along and saw that they had that item, then you could end up selling it through the merchant and stuff like that. So it was very cool. And the merchant was going around trying to find those items for people. So
like I had no idea this warband existed, really.
Neither did I. I think it's part of sorry, you go.
And it just I agree. It created so much immersion, and it's just this type of warband that in a small group, like it'd be sort of it's a bit gimmicky. I can sort of see the potential of it, but in this event, just the force multiplier of literally all these different warbands everywhere, trying to find stuff and serving as customers, it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
And I was going to say, I think the Merchant Warband might be part of the Empire in Flames expansion. Don't quote me on that, and I'm happy to be corrected if that's wrong. But I think they were part of, because there was the Empire in Flames, which is which was released a few years after the initial Mordheim release, and I have a feeling this came from that. So
right.
Right. But yeah, this was so much fun, and apparently, and this is one of the things I think a lot of people really liked this, and Dono was saying that for next year, apparently there's a few people that want to get involved in this and maybe do like a little merchant bazaar with like a few
different.
Yeah, like a few different stalls. And this guy just did this on his own,
all competing for prices.
That could be kind of fun.
Suddenly sounds very capitalist.
It sounds very cool. You could go in there.
This guy's selling it for 10 gold. You drop it.
Tell him he's dreaming.
Tell him he's dreaming.
I need to have a little model that's made up to be the guy from the castle. And he goes, tell him he's dreaming.
Just go in and bargain down the merchant.
Yeah, exactly. So this was great. There was a lot of, I got to say, the effort that went into this event over the, not just the event itself, but the players. I think a lot of people really went to that extra level to kind of everyone was just having a good time. Everyone just wanted to get amongst it, and everyone was just there to create a cool narrative and a cool story. This table.
Some of these tables were incredible.
They were
this one was absolutely ridiculous. I think
we both played games on this. Didn't we?
I think I did. Yeah, I played the pike.
Oh yeah, you played Glenn on that table, didn't you?
Dumb. Yeah.
I played the troll game where we'll get to some photos of that.
We'll hit them.
We'll come to that.
Fun though. It was so fun. I mean, some of these are I think these are all your photos you've taken.
Yeah, I just went around
the Western theme one. Yeah,
I played on that. It's a great table. Really, really nice table, that one.
Yeah, Western theme.
That was my table.
I mean, that's your table.
Or one of my tables. Yeah. Nice. I didn't make that stuff, by the way. I managed to buy that off someone. But anyway.
I think I remember telling the story. Yeah. Like there's a huge variety of terrain. It's all very pretty. Have you got any of the I just like them in general. I wonder if you've got. I played on this one. Which is very fiery, Matt. I wonder if I've got. I should have it somewhere. One of my favorite ones. Oh yeah, okay. I can pull this up. I think it's the best table of the. Because there was a table award.
Yes.
How good was this table, man?
Yeah.
And so. Because this is Jason's table, I think. They come over from South Australia. They've done a big road trip here. A bunch of other guys.
Really? From South Australia? Wow.
From Adelaide.
Yeah, for those of you not in Australia, that's a really long way. That's that's further than what you would have driven from Melbourne, right?
Oh, twice as far. It was 14 hours. It's like going from Melbourne to Newcastle. Like it's the same travel time.
Yeah.
Insane. But such a pretty table.
That's got very Pirates of the Caribbean kind of vibes, that one.
It does.
Oh. Such a great table.
I was a bit jealous that you got to play on it. I think because you were playing on it last. I think.
The last game I played for the whole weekend, because I'd been eyeing this table off the whole weekend, and every time I looked over, someone was on it. And then,
that's what happened to me as well. Except I never got the opportunity to actually play it. There's always someone on.
And then Sam, who I think is from Newcastle, he pulled me over for a game at the end and goes, "Oh mate," and I said, "Oh, what table do you want to play on?" I was looking over there, and he goes, "Yeah, I want to do the pirate table." I was like, "Yes, let's do it." So that was like, I can't drive home at the end of this without having played on that pirate table. So it was really, really cool. Yeah.
There was some other tables that were really cool though. Have I got some other photos? I really liked the one. There it is, 32. I'll bring this up as well. That had all the wreck boats and the sort of pines and that type of thing. So,
yeah, it was like a kind of swampy. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I just love trees, and boats and wrecks. And then I think the next one, this one I also wanted to play on, but I never quite got a chance. So this one just looks full of stuff. It's got a broken wall. It's castle wall. It's got all these ruined houses.
Wasn't there
there's actually not much open space.
Was there a moat on that one? Yeah, I don't know if you got a photo from the other angle, or maybe that was my photo.
You can see the edge of it.
Well, I think
but not really.
I think it was it might have been one of the last ones I uploaded, but there's on the other side of that castle wall, there's a moat, like a proper, like someone's used like the water effects and everything. And it looks amazing. Then how many there was 40 tables, right? 40 tables. And I would say that it would be hard for me to pick a best table. I reckon there could have been, arguably there could have been 10 tables I could have picked as being best table. Like there were so many good tables. I mean, I think, look, the pirate one, I think did edge it. It did edge it a bit, but like this one could have been in the running. Yeah, look at that. There's a moat and there's like a siege tower. Like that could have been in the running. I didn't
see the siege tower. Oh my God.
See? They're having like a siege and stuff, or like maybe someone has already laid siege and then this is kind of the aftermath of the siege. But like to me, like that could have been in the running for best table. Like, you know what I mean? Definitely in the conversation. Look how cool that was. But yeah, I agree. I wish, man, if I had if it was a whole week event, it'd be cool to like play on every single one. But yeah.
And you got some close-ups of that Pirates of the Caribbean one.
Well, that was when I played on it, I think.
This is when you played on it?
It might have been.
These photos are... it might have been. And then you got a zoomed out one.
I'm not sure. No, maybe that wasn't there. I think I might have gotten a couple of photos of when my warband was on there, but anyway. But I think there's quite a lot of table photos. I mean, I reckon I only took photos of half the tables, to be honest, just because I couldn't get around to all of them.
And then, hold on, I'll bring mine up again because there's a bunch of tables that are really pretty.
And I think this, because
which one? This one?
I was going to say, because this kind of leads me to a thing where some of the tables had specific scenarios attached to them, which of course were optional, like whatever you want to do. But there was like this mine one, and weren't there, because I didn't do the Aldium narrative, but there was.
Neither did I.
And to be honest, I think probably next year I will. But the Aldium narrative was like, the whole thing with this was it's set, like it's Mordheim, but it's sort of set in this province of Aldium. And the whole idea was that, like, if you opt into the Aldium campaign, then a whole lot of stuff that you're doing ends up like having impacts on the campaign. And there were certain tables where you could fight on a particular table, and then you would fill out a little thing at the end where it would be like, okay, the winner of this battle gets to, you're either like, I don't know, setting fire to everything, or you're trying to knock stuff down, or you're trying to repair stuff or whatever. So you get to nominate what you're doing. And then like that kind of played into what was actually going on. But if you go back to that mine one, wasn't there something where that apparently, like on the second day, it was like, the mine has like started spewing out chunks of warpstone, and like warpstone is now like raining down on the city. And there was something where like all the Skaven warbands are like, they start the next game like automatically knocked down because of like all the warpstone and stuff.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And I think that had something to do with this table. So yeah.
Oh, is that what triggered that? Because when that happened, and he just sort of announced all Skaven players started knocked down, like the whole room was very amused by it.
Everyone was laughing about it. Yeah. Because there was a lot of Skaven players.
And I think that was in the afternoon of the second day. And when in that moment, I think the other thing that happened is, I think wizards could like get a second spell on the roll of a 6 or something.
I think that was it. You could roll a 6 and then gain another spell.
Which I did. I triggered that.
Did you?
Damsel.
Very good.
But she then she okay. Guess what happened, Alex? So what I got, which is a pretty good one. I got Ladies' Favors, which is all your heroes can have lucky charms for this battle and ignore the first hit against them on a 4-up. And it's automatically cast. So all my heroes just automatically get a 4-up lucky charm.
That's insanely good.
Insanely good. You know what happened?
So good.
I totally forgot about it. I got it for my last game. Didn't remember to roll that 4-up once in the whole battle.
The old Josh special. Have a spell and they just forget about it.
Just completely forget about it. So annoying.
Some of us are born to play Mordheim, Josh. Others, it's going to take time.
It's not coming naturally.
That is so
but no,
funny.
when I was thinking when they had a Skaven thing, I was like, man, he should have, like, that would have been great to just randomly like call out these effects through the weekend, like just like, all right, so these guys just they have this, you get this deployment penalty or whatever, or this impairment. I would have just I would have loved more of that. I would have
I think there was definitely a bit of that going on, but I wasn't always like listening out for it. But there was.
Oh really? I didn't hear any other announcements like that.
There was a table that was. I think I might have gotten a photo of it, but there was like a heap of artillery on it, and I think the idea was the artillery was like shooting at the city, and if you were fighting on that table and you managed to overpower the artillery, then that would have an effect on, like the bombardment of the city and stuff like that. So there was a whole thing. That was it. Yeah. It's maybe not that clear from the photo I took, but up on those like fortified hills, you sort of had like a bunch of mortars and like cannons and stuff. There we go. Yeah. So you could like fight your way up there and like kind of try and disable the artillery and stuff.
Is that what that table meant? I actually didn't quite clock that.
So I think that's what that was. But then, so that was really cool because it's like stuff that's happening on this table is affecting stuff that's happening on some of the other tables. So yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, that was all part of that Aldium narrative that was happening.
Yeah, it might be interesting. I mean, I hadn't engaged with it, but it did seem like there was quite a lot of, because I thought in my head, because originally when you had that set up, it seemed like it was like limited to 20 players. Like maybe that was last year, or maybe that was just he changed it mid-year or something. But I thought the Aldium campaign thing was those 20 guys that signed up for it specifically, and then everyone else was just free for all. But then it seemed like it wasn't. It was just like you just either do it or not, and it didn't matter at all. Like there was no.
The only reason I didn't do it was more or less just because I was like, I'm going to be pretty like engaged with the whole thing anyway, and I kind of was like, for me, there's enough storytelling in Mordheim that I think at the time I just was like, I don't really need to add any extra stuff to it. But then it seemed pretty fun. Like there was some people that one of the other thing was, I think maybe just due to my own lack of organization with this, but I think a lot of people got together in groups of 3 or 4 or 5 people or whatever, and they all organized it before the event and kind of went, okay, like here's our group narrative. So all our warbands are kind of like doing something that's kind of in sync with each other. Like, and then they would bring that narrative along with them, or maybe they would send the narrative through, and then that would so these kind of teams of players would all kind of be sort of trying to do the same thing. And then they would get different like rewards and different things going on. And myself and a few other guys were coming down, and then we had a couple of dropouts, which didn't help. And then I think we were just like, everyone was busy, and we just kind of didn't really get around to like kind of coming up with the narrative. So yeah, I think next time round I'll probably give it a bit more thought, and yeah, because there was definitely there were the guys with the fish heads on, the guys that were wearing there were these dudes wearing fish masks for some reason, but that was in theme with their whole.
These guys,
and they all had the same.
What the heck?
They all had the same T-shirts on, and I think they all had the same. Like I don't know exactly what their narrative was, but they were. I don't know. I played one of these guys, and I was given like a little fish miniature because
you got the fish miniature.
Yeah, the fish scout, the fish man scout. Yeah, but Mordheim is like one of the things. If you go through the rule book and look at all the artwork, there's all these little fish everywhere. These little like these walking fish and stuff like that. Like it's all these little. It's kind of like a theme that kind of in all these cool like sketches and bits of art. There's all these little randomly. There'll just be a little fish somewhere. And even some of the models, like I've got like a a zealot model in my witch hunter warband, and he's carrying a fish around, which is pretty funny. So these guys, I think, really lent into the whole fish thing, and they had like a little fish scout, and I was given the fish scout on day 2, and then he like acted as a little model that followed my warband around, and then if you gave him back to the person that gave him to you, then he would, like, for each game you've played with that little model on the board, you get extra gold. So he like stores up gold and then like runs back to like the place he came from, and like you get gold. I don't know. So
that's how it works.
Yeah, I think I only had him for a couple of games though, so I didn't really make a lot of gold out of it. But yeah, but he's like a little fish model with little legs, kind of like what's on.
I have a photo of the fish model.
Oh, you got so they were all different. You had that one.
Well, no, I didn't have that one. That was
you didn't have
one that my opponent had.
Okay, so everyone seemed to have. There was a bunch of different fish scouts going on. I had one that was like literally a fish body with like a set of like legs and a buttocks. It was pretty funny.
I know there were different models.
Yeah, there were a bunch of.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Whereas this looks like just a dude wearing a fish costume.
So I'm wondering whether that was all the same group and they each did their own little fish model, or whether it was like a bunch of people were told to do fish models. I'm really not sure, but it seemed fun. A lot of people were like, by the end of the campaign, a bunch of people were walking around and had little fish models as part of their warband. So obviously, you know, lots of people were given the little fish scout to help them out. But yeah, that was just part of it. It was kind of like, and there was another with that whole extra narrative. I think one of the guys that I played, he said to me at the end of the game, because his group were trying to amass like a huge collection of Weirdstone, and I think they were trying to get to 100 Weirdstone in the bank, because you know how you can like save the Weirdstone that you're finding. Yeah. So these guys were trying to get up to 100 Weirdstone, and at the end of the game, he's like, "Oh, we're only 3 Weirdstone away." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll give you 2 of my Weirdstone." So he ended up with, I was like, that gets you like. I was like, well, that gets you really close.
That's great. That's
great.
Well,
I was like, well, I'm sure that someone in their group was going to be able to come up with that 1 extra Weirdstone. But I mean, I was prepared to give him 2. If I gave him 3, I would have had none left in my little bank. So I was like, oh, I'd like to keep 1. So anyway, I was like, oh, well, if that helps you guys reach your like narrative goal, I'll give you that, and then we'll see what happens. So anyway, but that was cool.
I'm not moving off the fish man. Because I actually have a bit of enmity towards this fish man.
Ooh, okay. Tell me.
This fish man, I'm not happy with him. Did you play on this table? The swampy.
I was hoping to, and then didn't get around to it. So
okay, because this is the one where it's got like 8 of these sarcophagi or coffin things.
Oh, that's right.
And you had to go digging for like this necklace. And if you get the necklace, you can sort of, if you get back off the board with the necklace, you win the game. But the whole time zombies are spawning. There's a maximum of 8 zombies.
Yeah, because isn't it like it's like a cursed swampland or something like that? Was that the?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. So I think I played a witch hunter warband. I think it was Matt. I think, and. I mean, it was a fun scenario. I mean, it's interesting because it had quite a lot of NPCs, and I'm finding, because this happened with me and Glenn playing as well, is when you have a lot of NPCs, suddenly you're both just fighting NPCs.
Yeah,
you're not actually trying to kill each other, which is fun.
Yeah, that happened to me too. Not in this one, but a different table. Yeah,
it's not necessarily bad. Like, it's still fun. No. Playing out as a different sort of scenario rather than just trying to kill each other. Depending on, like, it needs to be well designed so that you're still trying to beat each other to accomplish the task you're trying to do. And I think as long as you still have that tension, it's okay. Because like the fighting in Mordheim is not that intricate really. So whatever you're fighting is still fun. And you know, even if there's lots of NPCs, you still get to roll for the NPCs, your opponent, and laugh at the misfortune either way. But for me, so like we were running at these sarcophagi trying to explore them. You kept plonking all these zombies down in front of the esophagus as I was trying to get there to explore. So I don't think I ever got to roll on an exploration table. Just out of the happenstance and the timing, like these zombies just kept appearing. That fish man, so I'll go back to that first photo. That fish man's right up to the sarcophagus. This is the first situation roll of the game. He rolls the necklace. The Fishman
wasn't it like a 6 or something to get it, or was that
a
what it
9
was?
or more? It was a 9 or more on 2d6.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not that like it needs a good roll, but it's not like it's a 6. Yeah, it's actually not that hard to hit. I think what happens is the more coffins that have been explored, I think it added +1 each coffin that got explored. So each coffin would add, you know, more and more likely to get it until it's impossible not to hit it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just rolled like an 11 or something, and then he had it, and then I couldn't respond. So Fishman was, you know, within a couple of turns. I think I had one chance of getting a zombie to spawn there before he could move. He did roll a 5 up, and he just didn't roll a 5 up, and then Fishman's heading away, and then Fishman's off the board. Stupid Fishman! He didn't get a chance to do anything about it.
The little fish scout.
So the little fish scout got the necklace and just ran off. I just killed some zombies while, you know, because that's all I could do, which was you know, get a bit of experience, I suppose. But yeah, that's my only interaction with the Fishman all weekend, and it essentially stole me the necklace. I'll never forget it. I dream of my revenge on the Fishman.
You'll be back next year, and you'll have like a vendetta against the Fishman. hatred. Yeah, like all your models hate Fishmen.
Yeah, it was a fun game though. But like the thing is, I don't think no one died apart from zombies in that whole game. So I didn't actually have any injury rolls to make.
Because I played. Speaking of the NPCs, we can. That's a good segue because we can. There was a game that I played on that table that had the kind of two, like the kind of fishing village table with the water and like the two little kind of islands.
Yeah.
And you played on the same table later on, but I played. So they had a whole booklet of scenarios on that table, and you roll a dice to see what scenario it is. And myself and my opponent rolled up this like troll scenario where there's these two river trolls kind of guarding the village, or like I think they're kind of, you know, looting the village for fish and stuff like that. So both warbands enter the battle enter the area from opposite table edges on these boats.
This was so fun.
This was fun, and then if you
just
keep going, there's a river troll.
There's a river troll.
He's going to steal some fish.
What's that fish? Is that fish on a rack?
Yeah, little fish on a rack.
I never saw that. That's incredible.
It's a fishing village, and they had little fish on racks, and we were like, sick. The trolls there trying to get some fish. And that was my opponent. So this was possessed, and my opponent had a really cool warband. They were kind of almost like it was kind of like a nautical themed possessed warband. Like they were all a bit they all looked a bit like kind of tentacles, and like they looked a bit like they'd come out of the ocean. So anyway, so they were coming on the other side of the board, and so we both had to kind of come onto the board, and then we were trying to fight each other, but also like there were these two river trolls, and this was so funny. This was so funny. So his warband, like they sailed under. One of the things was with the river trolls, if it can charge you, it will charge you. Like if it's within range, it just charges the closest thing. And he sailed in through the river under these bridges, and then didn't realize that the river troll was aquatic and could charge through the water. So the river troll just saw the boats and just charged into the first boat. And he ends up having to fight this river troll. And he's like, the river troll's just knocking guys out of the boat. And he kept stunning people. And then they kept failing their initiative test and falling overboard and drowning. It's like, I think he lost like 3 models because they were just like, river troll had bonked them on the head, and then they'd fall overboard and just drown in the river. Which was,
oh my gosh, yeah.
And then we ended up. He ends up ramming the river troll with the second boat. So if you keep going, and I was dealing with the other river troll on my side, so you can see my warband. I'd sort of surrounded.
You're
the other
getting
one
on
with,
safe dry land there on that aspect.
I tried to, but it took. I managed to get most of my zombies and my necromancer onto the kind of land area, but then I still had like I basically piled all my best models into the river troll at once. So it was like vampire, direwolves, ghouls, dregs, they all just went in. And it took so long to deal with the troll because He's got a 4+ regeneration, and he's got 4 wounds. So you've got to chip 3 wounds off him before you can even.
Wounds.
Yep, and he just keeps rolling 4+ to save it, and so I had to chip 3 wounds off before I could get him to a point where I could even like knock him down or stun him. And then I think for 3 rounds, after I got him down to 1 wound, for 3 more rounds, he kept rolling 4+ and saving all the wounds, and I just couldn't get the wound through. And eventually, I think he took out 3 or 4 of my models before I got him. So I finally dealt with the River Troll, and there was some extra experience for like the model that gets takes a troll out of action. There's some extra experience. Oh yeah, this photo. Okay,
yeah,
so
both
of us. Yeah, so this was hilarious. So my opponent then ended up ramming the River Troll with another boat, and he sent in like a guy with a spear or something to try and fight him. And he rolled a critical, and one of the results on the, like if you're using a thrusting weapon, one of the results on the critical table for that is that like the model gets skewered and basically gets like thrown, I don't know, D6 inches away or something. And so he manages to skewer the troll. The troll gets thrown into another boat. He then he then collides with one of his own models. And the rule is if the model is thrown and hits another model, they both take extra hits. So his other model gets hit, like the troll lands on one of his guys, and that guy then fell out of the boat and drowned. And then the troll was then sitting in the boat, and then he ends up having everyone just invades the boat. So the troll's like in the middle of this dinghy, just getting attacked from all sides. It was absolutely outrageous.
It's so ridiculous.
It was very, very funny. So like both of us were pretty much struggling to deal with our respective trolls. And then finally I got rid of the troll that I'd been trying to deal with. And then I was like, all right, now I'm going to go and attack his warband. But he ended up routing after that because he couldn't even deal with the one troll that he was fighting. So it was...
it was all over even before, like
we did have
clash.
We did have a bit of a brawl because I ended up throwing about 4 or 5 zombies into combat with his one of his possessed guys made it onto land, and a couple of his brethren, and I ended up like swarming them with zombies, and like so there ended up being like a big brawl of zombies, like just trying to overwhelm them. And but I think he realized he was in trouble because the troll was just like knocking guys overboard left, right, and center, and you know he couldn't really fight on 2 fronts. I think in a one-on-one fight, if it was just his warband versus mine, I think he probably would have won because he had some really strong models. Like it's the possessed, once they level up a bit, the possessed warband is really strong because he had like 2 different possessed models, and they have like multiple wounds, and they've got lots of strength 5 attacks. And then you have, I think he had a beastman that had like 3 wounds and like, you know, toughness 5 or something like that. They level up really well because they have quite a strong stat line to start with. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was kind of lucky that he got stuck for so long fighting one River Troll, because I was a bit concerned that his warband would probably eat mine for breakfast if it got the chance. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, because that's not what the scenario was about. It was about killing some trolls.
Yeah.
And
that was hilarious.
I might briefly then, because we're on this table, this is me and Glenn's game. And it sort of had a similar sort of, I mean, it's a different scenario. There was pikes with pikes on the board. And again, it's sort of like, because you got these NPCs going on, it does sort of, divide the interaction a bit. But it was a funny scenario, right? Because it's like, I've got these pies coming in, and they've got like a pushback effect that's automatic. So not even like the kebab critical. It's literally just like they come in, attack you, and if they hit either of their attacks, if they just roll a hit, you automatically get these 3-inch pushback. So like this dude wearing light armor, suddenly he's doing a strength test to make sure he doesn't drown. He hasn't got knocked over. He just got pushed back. So he's
in the water.
He's in the water with his light armor. So suddenly I'm like, my leader is like, strength testing to not just straight up drown in the first like from stupid pike thing. Like, because these pike aren't very tough. Like they're tough. They're only toughness 2, but they got 2 wounds.
You don't like fish, do you? You've had after all these like fish related mishaps, you're like,
I'm getting some fish animosity.
So what, they got into the boat then?
They all piled into the boat. they're pushing all my dudes off into the water. Thankfully, it's only really the leader that had to test for the strength test. The other knights errant was just swimming around. He's okay. And then Glenn's guys all pile onto land, and then they engage the pike. So I sort of got piked up before I could even disembark. Where all his dudes are. I did manage. I don't know if I've got it. He's running this Minotaur for the first time.
Oh goodness! Game. Oh no!
And I didn't kill it, but I did. One of the pike did do a critical. I think he did a kebab on him, but because he's got multiple wounds, like he's just like I think he's got 3 wounds or something.
He just shrugs it off.
He just shrugged it off. He was fine.
Yeah.
But it was a glorious moment when I rolled the 6 to wound the Minotaur with the stupid pike. And he's like, "My Minotaur." But yeah, no, his multiple wounds carried him through. But yeah, I kept shooting them with my bows and stuff, but they got a 4-up saving against shooting, and oh man, they were just relentless. Because they keep coming back. So I think on a 4-up, if you kill them on a 4-up, they're gone. But on a 1 to 3, they respawn next to one of these blue markers that's in the foreground there. And you can randomize which one, and then you randomize who places it. So you can keep plonking it in an annoying spot for your opponent. But yeah, eventually we managed to kill them all. And then we never engaged with each other.
Oh right, okay.
We killed all the pikes. I think this is the last pike. I was just like trying to crowd around him. And then that was it. Pike's gone.
So what happened? Did someone rout, or what? How did?
Well, what did happen? Well, we weren't sure what the condition was, so we actually played it that once all the pike were dead, we just finished it, and then whoever killed more pike was it.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how we played it. I guess we could have played it I guess we could have ran each other after that. Well, that's how we played it. It was a decently long game already.
That's the thing, yeah. If
we hadn't taken much damage, so it would have been like a whole second game if we then gone in and tried to make one of each other rout, because we really hadn't lost any models.
Yeah. And at that point, you're like, let's go get lunch.
That's right.
See, I played Glenn's Warband on day 1. Which was our kind of late afternoon game on day 1, and he didn't have the Minotaur. Yeah, he didn't yet have the Minotaur. So I was lucky enough not to have to play his Minotaur on that game because he didn't have it yet. But I did end up playing John, who's another one of the guys that came down from Sydney. I ended up playing him on day 2, and he did have a Minotaur. And that Minotaur, I think, killed half my warband. It was absolutely brutal.
Oh my God. Right. Yeah, I can't. I'm looking for photos, but I can't really find.
That's all right. It's all right. We can come back to that if we come across it. I'll point it out. But what else have we got here?
I was thinking about the kebabbing, because I did do another slightly ridiculous kebab situation. I wonder if I can find it.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah, I've got a good tale of that as well. Actually, yeah.
So,
you go.
I was playing. There it is. 64. So I was playing, I think it was Joey who had some Dark Elves. See if I can. Okay, I'm going to bring up the boats again, but then I'm going to go backwards. So then it'll be and it's just we were just playing. I can't remember. I think it was pretty much a straight up fight. I think it was.
Skirmish.
Oh, no, it was it was where you generate a D3 word stone, and each hero that dies, you lose a word stone, or if you kill, you gain. So it is. It does feel like a skirmish, but you kind of just want to keep. You get more word stone out of it. And he had a pretty shooty Dark Elf list. I think he had a Doombolt sorceress, which was a bit terrifying. And then a few guys with repeated crossbows, and just some cold ones. And so he's got. In the foreground there, he's got the 2 cold ones and his leader, and I think a fell blade, I think it's called. And that's sort of coming across to my leader and a knight errant and the damsel. And in the mid of the table there, I've got one of the squires who's got he ended up with multiple attacks, and I think a higher weapon skill. And I just gave him a spear. No, it was a halberd. No, it was a halberd, because I was just I just want to get might as well just get him into combat now, because he's got. Some extra attacks. So I was a bit scared when they all came in, because the cold ones, because they're space strength 4, I feel like they can actually hurt you a bit. But what actually happened with this one was, see that Squire? So he came in the side, and he managed to do a kebab. I think my knight had already killed the cold one, but he came in. Oh no, he didn't. He charged the cold one, rolled the 6 for the kebab, made the cold one bounce like a few inches. Hit both of these guys. Hit my knight and the Fellblade. Doesn't ruin the knight, but he does knock out the Fellblade, and he takes him out of action as well. And suddenly it's gone from a 2-on-1 fight to just 2 guys just standing there looking totally fine.
Wow. Okay.
And then that changed the complexion of the battle, and I think he just routed quite soon after that. And it's just crazy how quickly these things can alter. Because out in the distance there was actually quite an even fight, and a lot of the battle was like, it was quite touch and go. But it all came down to a crazy kebab on a cold one that got sent flying, pretty much, just out of randomness. Killed his mate next to him, and not my dude.
It's funny. I was very going back a few years ago. Because when I was growing up playing Mordheim, we never really. I actually didn't know that those optional critical hit tables existed. So we were always, me and my mates just used the standard critical hit table. And then it wasn't until a few years ago that I realized there was like all these optional ones. So for like bladed weapons and thrusting weapons, and for arrows, and for like what they call it, concussion weapons and stuff. I didn't know that any of that stuff, there were like extra critical hit tables you could use. But since using them, I've actually really, really grown to like them. I think they're really, really fun.
So good.
It just adds such a cool like element to it.
It is. And like, I must admit, I haven't even like analyzed them to the point of working out, are there better ones than others, or what's the really good results or anything like that. I'd literally just like, I roll the dice, look at what the result is, and go, oh, that's cool, whatever. And it's so themey. And I don't think I've ever played Mordheim, because these critical tables were in use last year at Cancon. I've really only played during Cancon. So for me, I've never played them without these cool critical hit tables. So I feel like it would be bland to not be running them. Yeah,
in my experience, the normal critical hit table is really brutal, and it's kind of like if you roll a 1-2, I think it does. I can't remember. It does a couple of wounds, and then I think 3-4 is like it does 2 wounds and ignores armor, and then I think 5-6 is like 2 wounds, ignores armor, and you get +2 to the injury rolls. So it's like it's so strong.
So either way, you're at least getting 2 wounds through regardless.
I think
some of those ones are a bit hit and miss. Like I feel like sometimes if you roll a 1 or 2, it's a little bit underwhelming almost. Like
but I don't.
It might just ignore armor save, but your guy didn't have any armor anyway. But you still only 1 wound. So sometimes, depending on the weapon, which is themey, because some of those weapons aren't necessarily gonna do as much damage, or they'll be. Maybe the piercing ones, maybe they just ignore armor but don't do multiple wounds or something.
Yeah, I was right about this. The standard critical hit table is you'd go, the wound is doubled to 2 wounds. The next result is 2 wounds and ignores armor. And then there's the master strike, which is 2 wounds, ignores armor, and you add 2 to the injury rolls. But like, that is just, it just feels super brutal anytime it happens. Whereas this other one where like, you're sometimes you've got models getting like thrown back. There's one where like, I think if you hit someone with like a hammer or something, one of them on the critical hit chart is like, it knocks someone else's weapon out of their hands, and then they can't fight with that weapon for the rest of the game because it's been like knocked to the floor, and they're like, they have to resort to fighting with like just like fisticuffs, or like fighting with a dagger or something. And it's just fun. Like, these are things that like, they're not going to ruin the game for the other player. They're just funny. And it's a cool way of telling the story.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. That's such a good point. Because the more you read that out, that the standard critical table, I agree. Like, if you're always getting 2 wounds through, regardless of the result, then as soon as you roll that 6, you're pretty much like, okay, I've got two cracks at getting out of action. it's very likely. It's more than 50% chance of getting a 5-up on those 2 dice.
Now, I was going to ask as well, right? Because obviously you haven't played a great deal of Mordheim until this would have been like the most Mordheim you've played all in one go, right?
Yes.
And what I love about this game, and hopefully you found the same thing, was you're only ever a couple of good dice rolls away from the game completely flipping on its head. Like you could be in a pretty bad situation, and then like a turn of like a couple of good rolls comes up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I'm winning the game.
Yeah. It did flip sometimes, and like to be honest, near the end of the weekend, it felt more and more like I was just putting my models on the table, sort of just running them forward and just seeing where the dice fell.
Because that's the
it
thing.
Wasn't a very high mental load, really. It was
and I kind of like that about it, because you could
be free, my pretties. Do what
exactly.
you like.
Because you kind of are like, well, it was like, if you try and play it too safe, you can't. If you're trying to be really strategic about playing Mordheim, you could do all the right things and you could play everything really precisely and do all this stuff, and then I just failed an initiative test and fell off a plank and died. Or hang on, I ran in, I did all these things and I ran in and missed. Like I had whatever. I had 2 attacks hitting on 3+ and they both missed. And then my opponent just bonks me on the head and I'm out. These things can happen. So you sort of can't be kind of too caught up in trying to be too tactical, because it can so easily come undone. So you've sort of just got to be like, I'm just going to throw it forward and we're going to fight some combats and we're going to do some fun stuff. And that's kind of where all the stories come from.
I think especially because you're rolling so few dice, I guess, as well. Like it comes down to 1 dice roll, 2 dice rolls, and that's it. And if you get a little bit of weird variance, it can,
because you're not rolling. It's not like in a game of Warhammer Fantasy where, okay, I need to get 1 wound on this model I'm fighting against someone's giant. I need to get 1 wound through, but I've got like 12 attacks and I'm hitting on 3s and I'm wounding on 5s and then whatever. It's like in this, it's like I've got this dude and he really needs to roll a hit here. And I've only got 2 attacks, and then you're like, it's just fun because there's a lot of like things that should happen just don't happen the way that you're expecting. So, and you've just got to come to accept that there's just no way of like kind of, you can never bank on anything actually happening in this game. It quite often just goes completely the opposite of what you thought was going to happen. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like in terms of the game and how much time you spend playing it, the post game stuff, which we haven't actually spent as much time talking about as maybe we should have. That was almost as much time, like maybe 50% of the game time. Like we just play for half an hour, and you probably spend, or maybe 40 minutes you play a game, or 45. Then you spend maybe 20 minutes rolling out and doing explorations and doing your experience and doing your injury and
it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love doing it. Do we want to talk a little bit about our warbands and like kind of what happened to some of our characters and stuff like that?
Let's do it. We haven't really addressed that,
So
Alessandra, my damsel, as I said, she got some pretty significant chronic wounds. But she got decent magic. She missed a few games. She didn't get as much experience as hoping. She did end up on with Wardstone Hunter, which I found was quite a good skill when I finally picked it.
Is that where you get to re-roll one of the dice for the exploration phase?
Yeah. That's a good one. Pretty cool. I like that.
I think that's a good one for like any kind of wizard character that probably doesn't want to be in combat too much. It's like not a bad thing to have a skill like that, because like at least they've got like a really useful thing to do at the end of the game. So I had my necromancer, who you went and took out of action in the first game with your archer. He took a chest wound and went down to toughness 2 immediately.
Right.
Which was like, so I ended up giving him a bow, and he sort of just hung around trying to shoot people with a bow for the rest of the campaign, because it was like, I don't really want him going into combat and just getting like taken down by people with strength 3 pretty much.
Okay.
How did he wasn't he didn't do much. He did do he pulled off one epic shot in the very last game where I was playing against an orc warband, and he managed. You were standing around watching this.
I think I was witness to that.
Yeah, he was up on a bridge and it was on the pirate table, and I rolled the critical, and because it was on that special critical chart, he rolled the ricochet one, so it actually ends up like going through an orc and then hitting another orc behind it. And annoyingly, I failed. I think I knocked them both down in one shot, but I wasn't able to like take either of them out of action. But it was just this epic shot where he was up on like a kind of rope bridge thing, and he like aims the bow and goes and like just like skewers two orcs in one shot, which I thought was pretty cool. He did manage to like shoot a Skaven that was in a building and like hit wound. I think I needed a 6.
Is that the
So I needed. Yeah, that was that game. Yeah. I don't think I got a photo of the Necromancer's like out of shot there.
No.
But in a different game, I needed a 6 to hit a Skaven guy who was like, in some cover and stuff. And I rolled the 6 and then rolled a 6 to wound. So crit, got the crit wound. And then he was like, oh, that guy's actually got 2 wounds. So I was like, no. So it's like, I thought I'd like taken this guy out of action, but in fact, all I'd done was like chipped a wound off him. So anyway,
that reminds me of a second game that I had against the Orcs and Goblins player. I think it was Skip, who also came from Adelaide, where like he had a couple of bows, like he had some gobos and then like an orc arrow boy, and like the first 2 shots he made with his bows, he rolled a 6. I think it was 6s to hit, and he just rolls a 6 to wound.
Yep.
He just like criticals me, and then he gets a ricochet, and he like takes out of action like multiple guys, and then it happened twice in a row. Like the first 2 shots he made of the game were both criticals into ricochets into some other dude of mine. And I'm like, what? He was as stunned as I was. He's like, this goblin never does anything with his bow, with his short bow. He's ricocheting and taking dudes out of action.
The ricochet one on that missile weapon table is a bit brutal, to be honest. But it is what it is, I guess. It is funny.
Yeah, it is.
I had some funny stuff go on. Like I was alluding to this story earlier, but my vampire, who is called Emilian von Carstein, there was a game I played against a Skaven player, and I don't know if you go through the photos a little bit here, but he had a rat ogre, and I ended up throwing like half my warband at this rat ogre to try and deal with it. And the rat ogre was just tearing zombies apart limb from limb. And then he ended up fighting my vampire. And I held out for a couple of rounds, but then the rat ogre eventually managed to take the vampire out of action. And then I've rolled on the injury table after the game. And I'm like, okay, the blue dice is the 10s. No, that was another game against another rat ogre. But it was a different one. Yeah, it was on the really nice table that had like the sewer. The table with like the sewer in the middle of it.
Yeah. I think I saw your photos of that. Okay, I've got it. Okay, it's a good photo. You're right. I really get this.
Yeah,
it's a lot of charges.
Oh yeah. There was like 5 or 6 charges all in one go, all trying to like deal with this rat ogre. There we go. So basically he had the rat ogre and a few Skaven on this bridge that was like kind of going over like a kind of dried up sewer or something. And then I was like, all right, well, to hell with it, because if I don't charge him, he's going to get the first crack at me. So I just sent everything in, and it was just like absolute carnage. And I think there's a couple other photos that shows you what happened after that. There was a big, so I had like one of my dregs. There's a dreg there, all of the menace. He was terrible the entire campaign. He was absolutely useless, but he just got his face like, curb stomped. And then we had the vampire managed to take out a Skaven. The dire wolf was fighting a Skaven. There was a bit going on here, but then I just had to throw everything at this rat ogre because it's like strength 5, toughness 5 with 3 wounds, and it's got like a 12-inch charge range. So if I don't charge it, it's going to charge me. So it ended up killing the vampire and like 4 other models or something. And then what ended up happening was on the injury roll at the end of the game, I've like rolled for the vampire. Oh, there you go. You can see the vampires now fighting the rat ogre and another Skaven on his own. Pretty brutal.
Yeah,
and then
on
the injury table, it's one of those like dramatic dice rolls where one of the dice comes up straight away and the other one's spinning around for a bit in the dice box. And it was like the 10s dice came up as a 1, which means that anything from a 1 to 5 on the second dice is going to mean my vampire's dead. And it came up a 6. And it was like spinning. It was like spinning around for what you know how time slows down, and you're like, oh, that dies. And the 6 it's like spinning around and then lands on the 6. So I'm like,
and
oh
it
my
could
God.
roll on anything. Like you can see a 6 on the dice, but then sometimes that 6 just disappears.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
terrifying.
And for a second there, it looked like it was coming up like obviously anything 1 to 5 would have been like my vampire would have been kaput. So he ends up rolling the 1 and the 6, which means it's multiple injuries. And then how many multiple injuries do you think I got, Josh?
I don't want to guess. I don't want to know, Alex. No, you got the 6. It's gonna roll 6 times.
Yeah, so it's basically you then have to roll another d6, and that determines how many how many times you then have to roll again on the injury table. And of course, I rolled a 6. So he then took 6 injuries. A few of them came up as full recovery, which was good. But he did take an old battle wound, which was
no.
Yeah. So I had my heart in my
disastrous on you.
Yeah, on my vampire. Because like the thing with the undead list is that pretty much everything in the list is terrible, and the vampire is like one of the best models in the whole game. And the vampire does so much heavy lifting with like whenever you play a game, the vampire has to do a lot. And every game after that was like my 3rd game of the weekend. So like every game after that, I had to roll to see if the vampire, if you roll a 1 before another game, the vampire succumbs to the old injury and can't fight that game. So being an undead player, you do not want your vampire missing a game because like you just don't have a lot that can do anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, I luckily never rolled the 1 after that. So the vampire was able to play in every game. But he ended up, by the end of the campaign, he had, he had like halberd and heavy armor. He ended up with 3 attacks, which was nice. He ended up with weapon skill 5, which is great. So he was like pretty much hitting everybody on 3s. He got step aside.
They start with 2 attacks.
They start with 2 attacks
already,
and their stat line's very good to start. I mean,
incredible to start with.
It's funny if I read you the stat line, if you're comparing to like a normal Warhammer model, it doesn't seem that good. But in Mordheim, where almost everybody has a pretty bad stat line to start with, like a vampire starts with strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, weapon skill 4. So you've kind of got like those stats.
It starts with 2 wounds and toughness 4, and that's
what I'm telling you.
Good.
That's what I'm telling you. So the vampire, and his movement's 6, so you're charging and running 12 inches. And you've got initiative 5, so you're almost always passing your initiative tests as well. So it's
how much does he cost, like as a base? Do you remember how much he costs on the top of your head?
110, I think.
Really? That's a very good value, right? For what that brings.
Yeah, exactly. I can tell you that. But he, so long story short, I was like very lucky not to have my vampire. Yeah, 110. So I was very lucky not to lose my vampire after the 3rd game. But then he ended up leveling up pretty well after that. He got step aside, which means that like, in combat, you get to automatically, you have like almost like a 5+ ward save to try and avoid getting hurt. And then he also got, I think for me personally, I think this is one of the best possible skills you can give a vampire, which is sprint. So this is the one where you triple your movement if you're going to march or like if you're going to run or charge people. So you've got a vampire that's now charging 18 inches.
So even charging is triple.
Yep.
That is actually really good.
It's so good. And but you can it's really good because the dire wolves can charge 18 as well. So you can put the vampire and have him there with a couple of dire wolves, and those 3 models together can just
and they can all charge 18.
They can all just charge into stuff. It's so good. What were you about to say, Josh? You weren't sure.
I'm such an uncultured swine because I never really I just sort of was like, just give me the combat skills, just give me the strength skills. Like I remember I read through the speed ones like at the start of the weekend. I'm like, oh, some of those are kind of cool. But in the moment of when I've got a skill upgrade, I'm like, okay, which one do I want? Strongman, or do I want expert sword fighter, or or do I want the cool dual wielding one? I got that one on one of the errands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then died like the next round. I'm like, damn, okay, because that was a really cool skill, and now I can't get it again.
Yeah, because
but those speed ones, oh man, yeah, I didn't realize
the speed ones are good.
Triples your charge range. That is incredible.
I find in my experience the speed ones are really good for a couple of different like kind of character archetypes. If you've got a really strong combat character who, I mean, obviously your character has to be able to take speed skills. That's like you've got to have the little tick there to indicate that you can.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure in other warbands. I'm not sure who can get those. But the thing with the speed
all my
ones,
guys can get speed. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. So with the speed skills, if you've got quite a powerful combat character, the speed skill, like if you take sprint, it pretty much means you've got a very good chance of getting the charge off, which is really nice. Then you've got it also is helpful for like. It helps you get up and around the board a bit more because there are some speed skills that make it easy to get like up and down buildings and stuff. So if you've got guys who are good at shooting, then having a speed skill on them might be helpful for them getting into the right spot. But yeah, those are a couple of things that like you can do.
Scale surfaces.
I think there's that one. Yeah. So that was pretty good.
Sure-footed. Yeah,
and just
good ones for climbing. Yeah.
One thing we didn't really mention this here, but I think we did sort of speak about it maybe in a previous episode. But Dono has kind of used a similar like player pack to what he did last year, but he also added some things in. And one of the things that he used that I ran this at Castle Assault Mordheim back in August when I was putting that player pack together, which was basically. You can't duplicate a skill. So you can choose when you roll up a skill. Yeah. When you roll up a skill for one of your heroes, you can pick a skill from whatever skill list you've got access to. But once you've used that skill for one of your models, that's it. It's one and done. So you can't have all these guys all with the same skill set. Like they all have to have different skills. And I'm glad that Dono chose to keep that in his player pack because I personally think it's a pretty good thing. I just think you get a lot of variety out of it. So.
Just nicely weighted. And so much like, because last year it was you pick a skill archetype and then you randomize which one you get. Which actually meant, it was really, you were just sort of reacting to whatever skill you ended up with as to how you build the equipment. And it was, it was interesting, but this felt a lot more intentional. And it meant you could plan a little bit, but you also, you couldn't really lean into the really strong skills. You had to be a bit picky about, the max, who gets what. And it also meant you were forced to consider other skills that you might not necessarily always take. So, I think it's absolutely the way to do it.
So
a better way of doing it.
And I was chatting to Dono at the end of the event because he did make a few little tweaks from like what he did last year as well. He did like sort of because I basically borrowed a lot of that stuff from his original player pack to use for Castle Assault, and then I added a few things in.
Like
and then
wielding.
I borrowed that. I borrowed the thing where like strength doesn't modify armor, and it's more you've got to have specific weapons to do that, which is I think is cool. And then the cool thing was he then kind of used that same blueprint that he'd started initially anyway, and then he used some of the additional things that I'd kind of added to it, and then he added his own other stuff. So it's almost like layers in a cake. We've kind of layered these things on top over, like if you go back to the same event last year and then you factor in what I ran in August, you kind of have this. You can kind of see the evolution of it. And he sort of said to me at the end, he goes, I kind of feel like now it's to the point where you could publish this like online as like a player's pack, and any event anywhere could use this and it would be pretty well balanced. And I tend to agree. I agree.
Like, it's really tight. It's really tight. I don't think there's too much that you need to add from this point, and it's only a few specific rules. And the decoupling, strength, arm piercing, dual wielding, impairment, and the skill selection. Those are the three main ones. I think there's a few other ones, like you only have up to 50% of your warband with missile weapons and a few other little things here or there. But those three main game ones, like it just feels right. Like when you're dual wielding and you go in and it's the same weapon skill, and suddenly you go from 4C to 5C hit. Oh man, it hurts. It hurts, and it hurts in the right way.
And having played a lot of Mordheim as a teenager, which we never really changed any of the rules for it. Everyone just took 2 clubs because they were 3 gold crowns each, so you could have 2 of them. It was 6 gold crowns. It was cheap, and they had a good effect where it's easier to stun people. And literally every model on the board was armed with 2 clubs, and they all just ran around like clubbing each other. And it was like, okay, that's fine, but it just felt like it was very easy to just shortcut straight to the best build. Whereas now it's like, no, hang on, there's probably about 10 different options I could use that all seem to, they all feel like they've got like there'd be like a good reason for me to take that. Which I think, like, swords are great because you can parry.
Swords are great. The parrying. How many times have you parried? Like, I think parry is super, super helpful.
It's super underrated, man. I love using the swords. And then you've got like, and then what I loved, and this is one of the additions he made for this event, was he sort of had things like, okay, in the Mordheim rulebook, it's like you can take a double-handed weapon, and the double-handed weapon just means you strike last, but you get +2 strength. Fair enough. But what he did with this was he went, okay, the double-handed weapon automatically does -1 to armor. And it also has, you can actually, he added in like extra weapon options, which was like you could have a double-handed axe, which was like, because the normal axe rule is it gives you -1 to armor. Now this gives you -2. And then there was a double-handed. Did you not see those? There was like a double-handed mace.
I saw the double-handed, like, different ones. I think I'd missed that double-handed gives you a baseline -1.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till midway through as well, actually. But I'm not sure how useful it would have been. But I did sort of I did find that out midway through as well. Hey Josh, can I tell you the story of all of the cunning? No, sorry, all of the menace.
Yes, I've been waiting for this story.
So this was one of my dregs, and he's the guy that had the double-handed axe. And this guy just got taken out of action over and over and over again. And it was almost comical, some of the ways that this guy got taken out. Like at one point he tried to do a diving charge and just took himself out. Another time, like he'd get charged by a goblin and just get stabbed and get taken out. And then he kept getting stat decreases like every time. Like I don't think I ever rolled full recovery for him. He just kept getting stat decreases. So,
really?
So this was.
But he never died either.
He never died.
That's the thing. Like I had 2 guys die, but I didn't have that many stat decreases. So this poor guy.
So this guy, by the end of the campaign, so he was movement 4, which that's what he starts with. He was down to weapon skill 1. He was down to ballistic skill 1. His strength was 3, which is what he started with. But then this is funny. His toughness, at one point, he got taken out of action again. And then he rolls on the injury table. He rolls whatever chest wound, right? And then his toughness went down to 2. But then he also gained an experience point from that same game, and he leveled up. And then I rolled on the chart, and it was +1 toughness. So he went from toughness 3 down to toughness 2, and then immediately, like in the same phase, went straight back to toughness 3 again. And then he actually ended up at some point he ended up with an extra wound. So like, he had 2 wounds, which was something. Actually, I think he got that almost at the very beginning. So like one of the very first things he got was an extra wound. And I was like, sweet, this guy's going to be really hard to kill. But then people kept rolling 6s and then rolling the double wound effect on it. So like people kept critically him and then doing 2 wounds. And it like meant nothing anyway, because it's like, well, he's got 2 wounds and now you just take him out of action. So
it was like, anyway.
It was just annoying things like I don't know, like a Skaven slave just rolled a 6 and took him out, like just stuff like that. His initiative went down to 2 by the end of the campaign. So I think he had 4 stats that all went down at some point during the campaign. He did get hardened, which meant that he was like immune to fear and stuff. But this guy was just comical, like, because it was just, he just could never hit anything. Because even against people that are weapon skill 3, which is like a lot of things in the game, I'm hitting them on 5s with 1 attack. So most of the time, like he'd just get involved in a combat and he'd maybe be able to shrug off a couple of hits and then he'd just go, miss. miss. And he's got his double-handed axe, so he's just like always striking last, and he's just like miss. It was just
that
embarrassing.
Reminds me of that. I think in your last game, I think I saw him run in and charge like the Black Orc like leader.
I think he did like a Hail Mary and tried to charge the Black Orc boss or something.
Yeah, the big boy. And just came in swinging his two-handed weapon.
Yep. And the Black Orc rolled a critical hit and then just took him out in one go. It's just like, all right.
No. But he actually came close. That's it. I remember the sequence out because you actually hit. You wounded. Right. I think he failed his armor save. But then he had some kind of dodge save, and the Black Orc
he had step aside.
He just stepped aside and just like that's so close to validating his position in the warband.
That's what it was. I was like incredibly close to him finally doing something, and then he just got like, that was so funny. That game was hilarious, man. That was the pirate board, and I think my vampire skewer, that skewer thing that we were talking about. Because I had a halberd, and I kept
did we get kebab off this week?
And I kept rolling. I kept rolling the critical hit and kept doing the same result. And I think I did the same thing to 3 different models. And then my vampire ended up being taken out of action as well. But then I had a warlock by that point, and I rolled up because you get to roll 2 spells with a warlock, and I had one of the spells is like the silver arrows. And it's really good because you roll D6.
Warlock.
So you roll if you get the spell off, and it's only like a 7 to cast, so it's actually quite like you've got a pretty good chance of getting it off.
Yes, you have to roll 2d6 and get 7 or above.
You've got like what a better than 50% chance of getting that off. So
7% or something,
something like that. Anyway, he whenever I cast that spell, I kept rolling. You'd roll a d6 and add 2, and that's how many shots you get, and it's like basically like a bunch of strength 3 shots. And you don't take any modifiers to hit. And the warlock is like ballistic skill 2. But I kept rolling 5 every time, and it was like 5 so I'm getting 7 shots every time. And the warlock just kept like raining arrows down with this spell. And I think I took out in 2 consecutive turns. I took out like 2 orc guys, and then I took out a third one. And then he had another orc that I was up on like the top of a tower. And there was like a bridge that was connecting these 2 buildings.
Oh, yes.
And this orc climbed all the way up a ladder and was like chasing me across the bridge. And my warlock was like, ah! And he runs off up the bridge. And then I cast the spell again. Sorry, that's what it was. I failed to get the spell off. The orc finally charges the warlock, misses with his attack, and the warlock just gets his staff and just goes whack. And the orc falls, and the orc fails the initiative test and falls all the way off the bridge and gets like stunned on the ground. And he didn't get taken out of action, but then the warlock just like there was like a hole in the bridge, and the warlock just like leans through the hole and just like nails him with all these arrows and takes him out of action in the next phase. So it was really cinematic because the orc spent all this time running around trying to climb up this. He gets up the ladder, charges across, gets like thrown off the bridge, and then just gets tall. Like
that bridge was super high up, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 6 inches or something. Yeah. And then I think that was the same game where I tried I attempted 2 diving charges with 2 ghouls, and they both failed the initiative test and both ended up dead. It was just like, it was. Did you know my luck with diving charges, Josh? In my last 2 games, I attempted 6 diving charges. You want to know how many of them I actually passed the initiative test for?
I fear to answer. 1. You got 1.
1. So out of 6
1
initiative
out of 6
tests, I passed 1 initiative test out of 6. So like, I was attempting diving charges and just like having my models like fall off great heights. But there's the warlock. Yeah, there's the warlock there. Up on the tower.
Sure-footed. I think. Yeah, a lot of these skills. So that's the other thing we didn't notice is that Donovan added. Like he's got the player pack with all the skills in it, but he's also put in the player pack all the other skills from different expansions. And if I really sat down and properly looked through it, I probably would have come across some extra skills there. But including like that dual wielding skill, I think that's a custom. I think because it's got Aldian in Flames skill, so these are specifically for the event, right? So that dual wielding one, because obviously that's a house rule. So this skill, which is The warriors become adept at using two weapons at once, and it no longer suffers the -1 hit penalty when using 2 weapons. So that's literally a skill designed for
the house rule.
The house rule. So like,
which is great,
which is really cool. So a lot of skills he's put in there, and then it's like there's actually maybe like 10. Like there's actually quite a few that are marked as Elder in Flames. That are quite cool.
I think it's great. It just adds depth. It just adds depth to
-1 armor. Like there's a few things like that. Yeah, it definitely has depth because there was like the 5 or 6 in each category. Like it is missing a little bit, but then it's hard to find all the other ones. That are in. There are some in the Town Criers. These all is stuck in there, and a few of the other little sort of publications that people don't really use because they're not really aware of them.
Yeah.
So it is cool that he's collated them all. And he's got the cav skills as well, which again was I think Town Crier 14. Really cool reference.
Can I tell you one other thing before, because you're gonna want to talk about the Town Crier, right?
Oh,
anyway.
Oh, yeah, I've got. Well, you can talk about it. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say,
photos.
I just want to tell you about my other 2 dregs. This was ridiculous, right? So the other 2 dregs that I took in the warband were Rivik the Ratcatcher and Carrick of Entric, right? Now, these 2 guys actually, throughout the campaign, these 2 guys actually leveled up quite a lot. Like they ended up with like extra attacks, and I had one guy was like ended up being like strength 4, but then he also had like a skill that gave him an extra strength in combat. So he was like fighting with strength 5, and they had some more equipment and all this. And I was like, sweet, these guys are like really looking like they're going to be good. And then it got to kind of midway through day 2, and I was like, how can I make these guys a little bit better? And I was trying to search for, after the games, I was trying to search for like the rare, there's the poisons, like there's like a Black Lotus poison, and there's a couple of poisons you can get. And I tried a couple of times after the games to find these poisons. I wasn't rolling high enough. Then I went and saw the merchant guy about it, and he actually had the 2 poisons on his board. And I was like, mate, can I buy these poisons from you? And so he did a bit of a deal, and he gave me the 2 poisons, and he gave me the hunting arrows for my necromancer's bow for like 70 gold crowns or something. So it was like, I thought it was a pretty good deal.
That's actually a pretty good deal.
And at that point, I had quite a lot of gold, so I was like, yeah, sweet, let's spend it. So anyway, I got the 2 poisons, and I'm like, sweet. So one of them was like the way that poison normally works, which is like you roll a 6 to hit, and then you automatically wound. And the other one is like, I think it just adds a strength. Like, so when you're fighting, it's like +1 strength, something like that.
To wound kind of thing.
Or it might have been something like that.
Well, the same
so anyway,
thing, really. But
anyway. So I gave each of these dregs one of these poisons, and I was like, cool, these guys are going to be in my next, because I think the poisons they only last 1 game at a time, so you'd have to buy.
Right. So they're literally just disposable.
Yeah. So you've got enough poison to coat the weapon, and then it's like once you've used it, it's gone. So anyway, I've spent all the gold to get these 2 poisons. I'm like, you beauty, this is going to be great. And then I played John, who had like this Beastman warband with a Minotaur. Both my dregs were like cleaved in half before they got to attack anything. and then literally, and they both like leveled up quite a lot at this point. So I was really excited. One of them, I think both of them did a dive charge on his Minotaur. Both of them failed and ended up on the ground. Both of them got bonked on the head and taken out. And then for my injury rolls, both of them rolled +1 for the injury roll, and they were both dead immediately.
No one's dead. Oh no!
So
they both dead.
They both rolled +1 after the game and died. And I still had bloody all of the menace. I had all of the menace who had like the worst stat line in history, and he was still in the warband. And the 2 guys who'd like leveled up and were actually pretty good at that point were both dead. And I was like, Mordheim. That's peak Mordheim. That's absolute peak Mordheim.
That is peak.
Yeah. So that was funny.
Special poisons. They didn't get to use them. They just got taken out of action and then they died.
So I was like, the vampire's like, now I'd like you two to use these responsibly. Here's your Black Lotus, and here's your death poison or whatever it is. And yes, I'd like you to both be very careful when coating your weapons with these. It's like they tripped over and got stabbed with their own like poison blade or something.
They just had a little taste of it. Poison me.
Yeah, so that was ridiculous, because I was like, oh my god, I've spent the whole campaign trying to get these guys to being like competent fighters, because the dregs just start with such bad stats. They're like weapon skill 2 and ballistic skill 2, and like the rest of it's just like human stats, like strength 3, toughness 3. But it just takes a while to get them to
bloods, really.
Yeah, basically. But it just takes ages to get them to like be able to really be like, and they can only take strength and combat skills. So they're sort of a bit limited in what they can do. So you sort of just have to gear them up for combat and like but because most things are hitting them on 3s, and it's just, they tend to get taken out of action like pretty quickly a lot of the time. But yeah, as I said, the 2 that actually got themselves into being like reasonably competent, both of them just didn't survive. And then all of the Menace, who was a complete dolt the entire time, like he was a bumbling idiot the entire campaign, he somehow survived with like all his stats like terribly lowered. Like, it was just, he was so ineffective.
And just keep rolling more injuries, which is
But by that point, it was funny, so I just kept him in the warband, because you can sack them off and like just hire a new model if you want to. But I was like, nah, he's got character. He
does. That's a story.
Yeah.
That's a story.
Yeah. If he survived that long, like, I'm not going to sack him now.
I must admit, when I was rolling that strength tank for the leader, when he got pushed out of the boat by the pike, part of me was like, if he drowns, this will at least make for a good story.
It's a cool story. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know what you could have done? You could have taken an undead warband next time and then modeled up like a zombie knight that was like covered in seaweed and stuff like that. Like he'd like fallen in and like he could be, it'd be pretty cool.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
That'd be funny. Now, the town crier. Now, these are your photos. This was in the swag pack for the event, wasn't it?
How good was the swag bag? Like, unbelievable.
Incredible. Like this especially. Like, there was a bunch of stuff in there. Like, there was a whole bunch of really cool dice that I actually ended up using all weekend because they were, it's appropriately themed.
Yep.
Aldium dice. There was, what else was there? I think there was, this is the thing that really took the cake.
Oh yeah. I've got mine here actually. Yeah.
So
they published their own Town Crier magazine, which for those who don't know about Town Crier, this was like the Games Workshop, like the sort of, I guess the kind of like the White Dwarf that was dedicated to Mordheim, right? Back in the day. And they would like release new warbands in there, and they would do like cool scenarios and stuff. And they fully like from the last Aldium in Flames, which was the same time last year, they took a whole lot of stuff from that and like incorporated it into this publication. And we've got like, there's like kind of battle reports and photos.
Yeah,
and,
some of these. Yeah,
and some of the characters. Like they did some, So they basically did like special characters. They had special characters that were from the last event, which they were like people's characters who'd like gotten up to some like crazy stories. I think I might submit all of the Menace as like,
I
might submit that, and he's like
absolutely put him. I reckon that's a good shout, actually. Yeah,
he can be. So they might.
He's so useless that they might well take him.
Yeah, and which special model did you get? Because they included like special 3D printed models that were like, and they gave you like rules for them. So these are like special. These are I got the orc. I got the vampire orc.
Yeah, the vampire orc. Yeah.
Have you seen that guy's stat line? It's insanely good. I also got this weird. What's this thing called? Another guy that's carrying fish around. But yeah, really cool. Like. And they had like a miniature designer that was helping them. And there's even like extra warbands in here.
Yeah, was that Axia Miniatures, I think?
Yeah, sounds right.
It might have been Axia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was designed a few different warbands as well.
Yeah.
Quite into the I've seen.
Josh, there's some photos in there because I know you were really like into this as well. There was the guys who brought along that Bretonian hunting party thing. And there was like that whole display that they set up for it.
Yes, yeah. I've got photos of that. Yeah. Because I think you put them in. Hold on, see if I can track them down. It'll be.
I think it's early on. It's like quite early on in that.
Yeah, I've gone back to the start. Let's see. There we go.
Yeah. So these guys. Did we find out? I know. Did we find out what the deal was with that Bretonian hunting party? Like, was it a kind of like fan-made warband or something like that?
Yeah, it's a fan-made warband. I think they'd written it, and so it was actually being used by all four. I think it was 4 guys they were all running Bretonnian Hunting Party, which is like a different twist on Bretonnia, where it's like literally just a noble out with his hunting party. So they're not really sort of dressed as knights; they're just out actually just sort of hunting. And I think they've got like they can drink bottles of wine and eat food and stuff. I think it might have some hunting dogs and like it's a bit more of a comical sort of twist. Bit less serious than the other Brett war bands, I suspect.
But they even
but my understanding is that it is going to be put up on Broheim as an official war band.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure what rating it'll have, but
it'll be like one. It'll probably be 1C, or they might. I don't know, maybe even 1D. I'm not sure. Like I'm sure they've spoken to someone about like the legitimacy of it, but they even left like the little. They had the little booklets there.
Minimum, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I guess it'll be 1C, but they had these little booklets that they'd gone to the effort of formatting them and printing them, and it's like the whole warband. Oh, you've got it there, don't you?
Yeah, I got it here.
Yeah. But they did like I mean, hopefully people can kind of get the gist of it from these pictures, but they had like each warband thing, this scroll thing, and there's a picture of a Bretonnian guy.
Yeah, the Bretonnian guy. I think he'd actually. Kind of be commissioned or he painted himself, but yeah, it's an original painting. Like
it's amazing. Like this is what I'm talking about. The effort that people went to, like this thing, and like the dude with the merchant stuff, like just amazing.
Yeah. So you can get it. Noble hunter, hunt master, worthies, maitre de maison, young nobles, men at arms, and harrying hounds. Like so, like that's sort of the archetype where it's it's not really. A night as such. It's actually a hunting party. It's just so funny. It does intrigue me. How fun that might be.
So have you got any other fun little stories to share?
No, I think cover most of it really. I feel like we're about to hit 2 hours, so this is probably a good time to sort of wrap things up. Unless you got anything else in particular.
I was going to say, give me like a quick summary. There's a couple of good-looking roosters there. I was going to say, what's your overall take on? I mean, okay, so because this was I know you popped in and played a couple of games this time last year because you were doing your controversial signing up for 2 events trick, but. This is like the first time you've gotten to properly really like do a whole kind of Mordheim campaign, right?
I'd never really done it before at all.
Yeah. What was your overall vibe? Would you do it again? Did you and also like a little bit of a rundown of what your feelings are about that particular warband? Like, did it play well? Do you feel like it was a good warband to play with? Like, what would you for people who might be thinking about Bretonnian Chapel Guard as a warband? Like, what would you do? Okay. Would you recommend it, that kind of thing? So
So I mean, with the Chapel Guard, it was a good warband. Like I actually quite enjoyed it. Within the pack of how it functions, in terms of the Cancon pack as well. I think the items that they had, like, because I mean, it's got some specific sort of custom things like the broadsword that strikes last. But +1, it's sort of like a double-handed weapon, but a single-handed, only +1 strength. But so that was kind of interesting. And then it's got a kite shield, which is like a buffed shield that goes to 5 up rather than 6 up.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a few things in there that does make it a bit stronger than your vanilla Brett list. I think some of the henchmen are really cool. I liked the squires, the battle pilgrims that were running around. Those were cool. That was nice and themey. And the errant knights as well. Like the errants definitely had their role. The thing is, I did find it hard to remember because it's got a few special rules, especially the errants, because the errants have got like some impetuousness going on, and like most of the time I'd really just forget it. I think it's probably because most of the time I was just charging when I could anyway.
Yeah.
But it was also like if there was a model that was knocked over, and they had a choice between a model knocked over and one that was standing up, they have to charge the guy standing up.
Yeah.
Or take a leadership check or something like that. But that's so situational. Like it doesn't happen that often. that a lot of the time
you just play
situation
on
just
and
never really came up.
Mm.
And I can't remember if it did or not, because most of the time I wasn't really in a situation where I could charge someone knocked over. You know, because I don't know, most of the time when it would, like, if they're knocked over, it's because you're already in combat during their turn, and then it's your turn, and then he's in a position to charge. Like, yeah, I don't remember that happening. I feel like it had a good amount of theme, and yeah, just the way the questing knight was able to level up, and interact with his, because they've got certain skills as well that buff, like the Morning Star and that type of, and the flail, so you can get the precision +1 strength, which is cool. And yeah, I think I like the Chapel Guard. I did enjoy it a bit more. The thing with the original Brett Warband was it is a little bit vanilla, like there's not much custom stuff in there. Yeah, it just lacks some of those thematic options, which the Chapel Guard has. So yeah, in terms of running Bretonia, if you want to run Bretonia, yeah, I think Chapel Guard is the way to go, or Hunting Party, as it were.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the event itself, it was really fun. It was really cool. Like, I'd never done anything like this before in terms of Mordheim, and just having a weekend where you're literally just building up your warband, building it up, and getting all this crazy stuff happening, was a really fun experience, and it was weird though, because it's just like you get to the end of it and you're like, the last game, you're like, I'm so attached to these guys, but I'm just gonna throw them in now because I just don't care what happens. But yeah, it was really cool. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do this year, Alex, in terms of playing that type of thing. If you're asking me what my plan is in terms of what events I want to do,
I won't ask you to commit. Hey,
yep. It sounds like you got some stuff going on in the background there.
I've got one of my kids has just woken up and it's all I think I need to jump off and just deal with the situation.
This is a really good time to wrap up.
Yeah, it is. We're on the 2-hour mark, but
yep. It's been awesome having you on.
Yes,
really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we had some good times. All right, I'll see you later, mate.
Yeah, no dramas.
All right. You going? You going off?
Okay. I'll go, or does the recording have to end first, or what's the...
No, you can leave.
Oh, here we go.
That's fine.
Leave studio. Gotcha. All right. See you, man. Catch you up.
See you, mate. All right, guys. That was another episode of Mordheim Fanatics. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to sign off too. All right. See you guys.